Hi everybody, it's Cathy from Reach Yoga again. Today we're going to talk about how to use your Chaga tea. Okay, so I know a lot of people have heard about Chaga. We'll talk a little bit about what it is. But I'm going to go ahead and show you right away the way I like to use it, and then I'll go down some other ways to use it. But because the way I do it takes a bit of time, but I do it like I use coffee. So this is what's going to happen. Okay, you're going to use your coffee pot. You're going to take whatever amount of water you like. So I have a guest, so I'll be doing enough for 2 nice big mugs of Chaga tea. So exactly as if you're making coffee. Go through the exact same process. So you're going to put in whatever you like. With the Chaga, you're going to be reusing your Chaga. So same thing. I'm going to go, let's see. I'm going to do 3 spoons of ground Chaga. I'm going to talk about that in a bit. But just to get this going, I also like to do, you can do, now go for it, just brew your coffee, Chaga coffee. I also like to put some larger chunks right into my pot. So these were the chunks that I just made a cup earlier. So same chunks are going back in because they're reusable. Okay, so now it's on. We're brewing a pot of Chaga coffee. And I'll tell you, I'm a huge fan of good coffee. So I don't know what happened to me, but once I just kind of shifted into regular Chaga use, I even started to notice, and you know what, actually as I think out loud, I think it's because I've started to have it ground like coffee grinds instead of only using the big chunks. So this is, since I've started having this ground, so maybe I'll jump to that. Our Chaga, our Reach Yoga Chaga, comes from Nova Scotia, comes from the Acadian area of Nova Scotia. And we have a beautiful team, so they'll shout out to them now. So my friend Danny and Danielle and Alan have worked very hard for us to collect the Chaga in a beautiful way, cut it up and grind it for us. So now we have this coffee version of Chaga. So it's ground small enough that it's easy to use in the coffee maker. It's beautiful to use as tea bags. And I'll give you a little show of what they've done. So I actually asked them to save me a nice big chunk. So that would be the way it would come off a tree in different sizes. So it's really beautiful. And then they start by dry it out beautifully, and then they cut it up. So they cut it into chunks like this. They have a like a stainless steel food processing situation. So they can cut it up into all these chunks. It's really hard. And then they end up grinding it. So now we get it like coffee grinds. Okay, so that's the different stages of what they're doing for us. And we thank you so much, guys. Your work is beautiful and your Chaga is delicious. Okay. So, your options. We're going to do a coffee pot full. I'm going to show you how to make a special drink because it's going to be delicious and cute. The usual, go with the tea bag, right? So you can fill up any of the tea bags that you can get from David's Teas or any of those other places. So you use your ground Chaga, make your tea bags, and you can do it single cups. So you just keep doing your boiled water in single cups. Also, if you like, you can make like a larger tea bag, like maybe even fill it halfway, put it in a pot, and simmer it on the stove. Okay, so you also want to watch if you've got the cardboard thing or any of those things, your string hanging on the stove, so you want to tie it up a bit. But you can really just have your tea bag floating in a larger pot and leave that simmering all day, put a cinnamon stick in it, something like that if you like. As I was saying, Danny and his team of men, they cut it up for us also into these chunks. I put that in the bottom of the coffee pot just because I like it to last longer. I've got the ground in the top. When I say you reuse it, so this is the second run, because we made a cup before we started filming, but the second run, it's a really dark tea still. So you can run this as many times as you like until you find that it's so thin that it doesn't have the flavor you like anymore. And it tastes like black tea, tastes like black coffee, somewhere in between. It's not bitter. Sometimes you'll find some teas are a bit bitter and some coffee's a whole other story. But it's really smooth tasting. It tastes rich and nice. It's a perfect I don't even want to say substitute, because if you love coffee, have coffee. But it's a nice other option anyway for a hot drink. Now, this is all ready, so I'm just going to go for it and show you what I do each morning. I use my blender, so a Vitamix, and this blender is particularly good because there's air, so you can put hot stuff in it. Not every blender you can put hot stuff in, so make sure if you're copying me, you have a blender you can put hot things in. So what I do is a little bit of coconut oil, because I like a latte, but I don't really do a lot of dairy, so I use coconut oil. Cinnamon. I also would put a cinnamon stick floating in here too, right? But I ground up cinnamon sticks, so I have natural. I put a little bit of cacao powder, so a little bit of chocolate powder because I like it, and then honey. So you could use maple syrup, you can use honey, you can have no sweet at all if you prefer. But then I would put a nice big blob of honey, bigger because we're making 2. That's how I do it. Pour the hot tea on. So you can see, look how dark it is. It's beautiful. So it's like a pot of coffee. I just pour it right on my spoon just to melt the honey off. And then I'll zip it up. And you'll notice it's going to turn kind of into a latte. It'll foam up. That coconut oil will foam up. So I'll start it low. Maybe we're going to cut the volume of the blender out at some point, but we'll see. Here we go. So I just give it a go and see what happens there. The coconut oil fluffs up. So it's this gorgeous latte. And you can do it black. You can do it any way that you like yourself. Excuse me. So, nice, gorgeous, hot cup of Chaga tea, latte style. All right. Now, we talk about using a tea bag, so doing it right into your cup. Same thing. Every time you're done with that, so you had your cup of tea, take it out, put it in a little dish, let it dry out. Right? Then you're going to use it the next time you have a cup of tea. You might do a few during the day. You can do that. But, so the next day it'll be dried out. You put it in. And again, you use it as many times as you want. So some people will say, oh, I use that twice and then that's enough. They probably like a really dark tea. You decide for yourself. I actually use it a long time. I like it when it's dark and I like it when it's getting thinner too. I just like it all the way. All right. So I want to tell you also, you can use a Bodum, like a French press. You can, what did I say? Okay, the teacup, the coffee pot, the Bodum, French press. Also, I'll tell you what else I've done with it, and I know a lot of you know that, but I've also made a makeup, so a bronzer. So when I'm done with the Chaga, I dry it all out. So when I actually think there's no more tea in it, I dry it all out and then fine grind it into a powder, and I use it as a bronzer, so it's makeup. And there's that. I don't know if I'm showing you the right spot, but so it's a powder. It's beautiful, and you just use a makeup brush, fluff it on. Makes you look like you have a nice little tan if you want that. But it's nice and it's really good for your skin. I'm also looking into a couple things. I want to figure out how to do a hair rinse, so that might be nice, right? So to have a nice hair rinse. One of my friends was also here visiting, and he was telling me that a friend of his is swishing it. So, the way you would do like a coconut oil swish or an oil pulling, he's doing that with the Chaga. So we'll look into that. I'm also wondering about making a wound poultice for it. So maybe, that the same powder, mixing it with a bit of honey, like if somebody has a wound. So those are some things I'm still going to work on and test. But continuing to drink the Chaga, what else have I got to tell you? I'll tell you how you can get it from me if you like. So I've set up a couple of kits, and you don't have to buy it in the small variation. You can tell me however much you want. I can weigh it out for you. As you can see, they've provided us in our community with plenty of Chaga. But right now I've got sort of launch kits, 3-ounce launch kits. I made these ones because they look like a birch tree. So you can certainly have that. You can have the lighter package easier for yourself. But what you get in here is, I'll show you. You get 3 ounces of ground chaga, and then you get a pack of 10 tea bags. And the tea bags, I'm just really doing that just to start. You can decide. I would prefer that you maybe got yourself one that can be reused, right? Instead of just keep going with these paper ones, get like a muslin bag or something that can be reused. And you've got 3 ounces of chaga. So in here, our flavors, we've got natural, we have vanilla, and we have mint. So those are your choices from me at Reach Yoga. What else do I want to tell you? Oh, this is what I want to tell you. In this video at the bottom, I'll put a couple of links. There is a radio interview with David Wolf that is so good. It's almost an hour long, so you can just listen to it in bits and pieces, or if you can listen to the whole thing eventually, I highly recommend. He also has a great book on chaga. I highly recommend. There's tons of people doing lots of research out there and speaking about the antiviral properties, antifungal properties. It's good for our blood. It has a host of good reasons to be drinking this tea, and it tastes delicious. But I'll put a link to the book. Maybe even I'll figure out how to put some links to everything that I'm showing you here. So for those of you that need to kind of purchase a few things, you can do that. That might be about it for the chaga video. Thank you so much. I hope that this made some of that clear for you. Remember how beautiful it is? It's got a really nice dark, sometimes black on the outside. When you open it up, it's gorgeous and golden inside. Yeah, and it's from Canada. This is good. We have beautiful chaga here in Canada. All right, everybody. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.